I am so excited to have you listen in because this podcast is for people who are transitioning careers in their 9 to 5 or maybe stepping into leadership and trying to figure out who they are along the way. We will also have a lineup of industry guest experts who are contributing to making significant change in other people's lives. We will be diving into topics such as burnout prevention, how to own your superpowers, building mental resilience. Now, if you feel disconnected from your authentic self, but have this genuine desire to do better, then tune in as I aim to heighten the level of awareness so you can create a path to living life on your terms. Hey everyone, welcome to the Female Self-Aware Solopreneur podcast. You are here for a treat, my friends. We are going to be interviewing one of my favorite people on LinkedIn. I have given her a name. She doesn't know that yet. I've given her a name as a community catalyst. When you listen to this episode, a lot of you might recognize with what she does and how she shows up on LinkedIn. When connecting or engaging with her post, people will often reach out to me on DMs and say something like, "Oh, I saw that you are connected to her. So you must be someone legit and worthwhile to connect with." So I love this person as a friend, but also someone I respect highly. So without further ado, we have Melissa Cohen on the show. Welcome, my friend.
Oh my God, thank you so much. That is the nicest intro I've ever heard. I'm like literally speechless. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. I know every episode starts out with this professional bio, but I say, hey, you know what? I'm going to break the rule here a little bit. And I do have your bio and I will read it. But my point is, I think who you are as a person is the most important factor with me. And I wanted to make sure that our audience know who I'm talking about. So welcome, Melissa. I so appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you. You're one of my absolute favorite people too. So it is completely mutual.
All right. So we're going to get started. I want to introduce you who has been in the fashion industry, working as an apparel executive with extensive experience in global product development with one of the most world's iconic brands, Ralph Lauren. I am interested in talking about how you made that transition even from that job to what you're doing now. You're passionate about sustainability and product quality. Melissa, one thing I saw you connecting on LinkedIn, building a community, to be honest, for the last 6 months that I've taken it seriously. Now that I'm posting more and engaging more, I'm noticing that your connection, your engagement skyrocketed. It's something that I have not seen in my network connections. First of all, congratulations. I know you also had a very big week. Your daughter just graduated. So tell us a little bit about you and then what's going on with your world.
So first, yes, my little shout out to my daughter. She graduated from high school on Wednesday, and I'm very proud of her. And I'm now realizing that in 3 months, she's going to be starting college. So a whole new chapter of her life, of my life, but super proud of her. I hope to be as empathetic and intelligent and caring and lovely as she is one day. So she's a rock star. Far as let's talk about LinkedIn first, because I love LinkedIn. I think the real key is just being authentic. Like, I see a lot of people who get really caught up in, I want to hit this many followers and I want this many views on my post. I have to post at exactly the right time of day so that the algorithm rewards me. That's not really what I'm about. Yeah, I like when I see that my post does well and that people respond to it, but I like that because I hope that they're getting value from it and that we're having a conversation. I try really hard to respond to every comment that I get, and it's not always something I can do right away. because I have work. I actually tend to post first thing in the morning so that I have a little window of time where I can respond when people engage. Then sometimes I don't get to all the comments until later in the evening, but that's really important to me that it's not just, oh, hey, how many comments can I get? But what conversations can I have with people? How can I engage with them? What are they getting from my post? What am I getting from their comments? To me, it's all about what I can learn from other people as well as what I can share with them. A lot of my content has actually come from that philosophy, right? Like I have two sort of themes in my content that you'll see. I do both of them pretty much weekly. And one of them is just pulling things that my connections have written on LinkedIn that really resonate with me and sharing them with people. And I think that's so important that we amplify each other's wisdom and that we share what we learn from other people. But it's really important to me. It really is about community. It's not just about getting yourself out there, although listen, at the end of the day, that's everyone's goal, right? That's why we're here. We want to build awareness of our personal brands. But for me, it really is community. And I hate social media outside of LinkedIn. Like, I am
Wow.
not active on other social media platforms. The only one that really resonates with me and that I really want to be part of.
You're not on TikTok dancing or anything, making fancy fingers or
I
oh.
promise you, there are absolutely zero people who want to see me dancing on TikTok.
I think I saw the other one time when I was getting active a little bit on TikTok, I saw what moms do in their 40s, and I'm like, "That is not me. I don't think I will do that." Okay.
Some things do not have to be shared on social media. Yeah. Then you were asking me also about how I transitioned out of corporate life into a different sort of
Mhm.
experience. That was decided for me, right? The COVID pandemic
Oh,
came
sure.
along and
Right.
everyone's industry was hit super hard by COVID. I don't think there was any industry that wasn't, but for sure the fashion industry was very hard hit. Right? Who was buying clothes?
Yes.
Nobody was going anywhere. Nobody was going to an office. Nobody was going to a party. There were no weddings. There was nothing, right? No reason to buy new clothes. Everybody was wearing the same t-shirt and yoga pants every day. And so even when the pandemic started to abate a little bit and jobs started to pop back up, I just had some honestly really frustrating experiences with interviewing and was looking for a new role. I decided I just didn't want to do that to myself anymore. I didn't want to go through the 6, 7, 8 rounds of interviews and then the ghosting. I didn't want to go through people who wanted somebody with a lot of experience, but wanted to pay for somebody with a lot less experience. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I decided to launch my own business consulting and it's been great. It's let me work with some really exciting brands, some really wonderful product, meet some great people, and really realize it's something that I never, ever thought that I would do or that I could do. And so just the fact that I could do it and I did it, that it's worth everything. Honestly, if you would have told me 5 years ago that, oh, no, Melissa, you're not going to be in a corporate role anymore. You're going to have your own business and consult with different companies. I would have said, you do not know me. You have no idea what you're talking about. That's what madness, complete madness. What are you talking about? So honestly, and this is not something I say about myself frequently, I am proud of myself. I'm proud of myself that I did this. And if anybody is thinking about doing their own thing, starting their own business, go for it. Your only thing. It can be something that you do on the side. It can be something that you build slowly, but you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I love what you said that I think that's a thread that I have shared with a lot of women, female consultants, where they said, I didn't know that I could do that until they actually have done it. I was in a networking event maybe a couple of months ago, somewhere here in DC, and there was a woman who wanted to start her business. And she had this look on her face that I want to do this, but I am scared. I'm scared if I should go all in because there's so many things that is uncertain. Like you don't know where the next client is coming from. It's not like you're getting paycheck every other 2 weeks. There's a lot of uncertainty. So I'm curious, did you have any of that emotion or any of that fear when you transition?
Yeah, of course. I think that's a very natural reaction, but I would also say nothing's certain, right? You can lose your job tomorrow. You can have a corporate job.
Absolutely.
You
Like,
can be getting that paycheck every 2 weeks until
yes.
you're not. It
Right.
I would actually say that building your own business in some ways is a little bit safer. You're not going to
Wow.
terminate yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
going to pretend that you always have a steady source of clients banging down your door. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I think that there's value in relying on yourself, not relying on the whims of corporate America. They're in a tough position too. That's something that I've really learned over the years that is hard to wrap your head around at first. It's not usually personal. It's not
True.
you. You usually didn't lose your job because you're you. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's just numbers, right? It's just
Yeah.
your leadership wants to cut X number of dollars and how can they make that happen? It's
Right.
often not personal. But having a full-time role is not a guarantee of security either. So I totally understand and appreciate that feeling. And honestly, I remember the
Mm.
conversation that sort of sparked this whole path for me. I was speaking with a friend of mine. She wanted to introduce me to somebody who was interested in hiring me as a consultant to help her launch something that she was working on. And I wasn't working at the time, and we were in the pandemic. And I said, "Oh, sure, that'll be fun." She said to me, "I hope I never have a corporate job again. I really love working like this." I remember being horrified. What do you mean you don't ever want a full-time corporate role again? How can you say that? That was such a
Mhm.
horrible concept.
Mhm.
I understand the trepidation, but I would say there's value in relying on yourself. There really is.
Yeah. One thing, Melissa, you pointed something really important here is that you, if you're not ready to go all in yet, you can still build something on the side so you are not feeling like you're swimming in the ocean with no life, with no, what do you call that? Help me out
Like
here.
that.
Life
Like that.
vest. Yeah. With, I'm losing my, it's Friday, guys.
Little ones, you're thinking like floaties.
Exactly. I'm thinking like, what do they wear again? So, yeah. So there's that you can wear a life vest. So you're not completely paddling this alone, right? So a lot of times I noticed is that I wish I've done it, Melissa, when I was transitioning from corporate. I didn't seek out, I didn't build the brand, which I think you are an absolute advocate for that. You don't build your brand while because you left a job and now you're looking for another job or looking for clients. You do it while you're in it. And so many people make this mistake, including myself, where I just waited because I'm like, I took it for granted what I had because you had that job for, I don't know, 10, 5, 7 years. And then all of a sudden, things change, like the company gets acquired or leadership change or the role changes and there's no other progression happening. You're feeling deflated or you're not, you're just, your career just comes to a screeching halt. So I can't stress enough, I know you do too, where every person who is looking to build something for themselves is to create that identity w- way before you need it, way before you actually require your network to give something back. Because let's face it, like you don't just get on LinkedIn and become active and all of a sudden expect that sales will roll in. Like it just doesn't happen. You know, yeah.
No, I could not agree with you more. What you are saying is it's really the core of what I try to
Mhm.
put out to people. So the same way you should build your network before you need it, you should build your personal brand before you need it. That's
Wow.
something I've really been speaking about a lot lately because LinkedIn is an unbelievable resource. And there's
It
statistics
is
out there.
amazing. Yeah.
I don't have them memorized. I wish that I did, but there is such a small percentage of active users on LinkedIn who
Right.
actively post content, who actively build their brand, and who are really utilizing the platform in the way that it's intended. There is so much opportunity and so much potential and so much power. You and I met on LinkedIn. I've met
Who
so
knew? It's crazy.
and here we are doing this. We're having this conversation. We're going to meet in person one day very soon. I'm going to drag you to New
Yes.
York or I'm going to come up to you. I've met so many people
You have a
in
couch on a living room where I could crash?
I so
Okay, just
absolutely.
here.
I was my couch while I was
Okay.
out. Plenty with couch. Um, LinkedIn is it is such a resource. Now, I think a lot of people still think it's the LinkedIn of 2015 or whatever year they joined,
Right.
where, yeah, sure, somebody sends me a connection request. Yeah, I'll connect with you. Or,
Right.
oh, no, I need to find a new job. I better get on LinkedIn. If you're,
Mhm.
oh, no, I need a new job. I better get on LinkedIn. You're too late. Yeah, you can find a new job on LinkedIn, sure. But it will be so much harder. It will be so much harder if you haven't already built a presence, if people don't already know who you are and aren't already willing to vouch for you, amplify
Right.
your message. It's such a wasted opportunity because it doesn't cost us anything. It costs an investment of a little bit of time. That's really all it costs.
Yeah, let's face it. Okay, so I have to be real and to put a caveat here. Like I have 2 young kids, Melissa, and I cannot I've seen people who this could become a drug, right? A social media can become a drug where you're
Sure.
spending easily, you could spend more than 5 hours a day. You're connecting, engaging, and all of that is important. But also at the same time, I realize that people have lives outside of the social realm. And but I find that you don't have to spend that much, like you don't have to spend all day doing that. Even if you I do pockets throughout the day and I just check in, like I will probably sometimes just going right, which is probably not a good idea, but right before bed, if I see somebody commented on my post, which I know I've commented back on your post and, oh, Melissa said something, I should say, I'm going to say something back. Sometimes I don't. I engage the next day, and that's fine because it's not people say that, oh, you have to engage within 10 minutes or within an hour. Like why put this kind of restriction and constraints on yourself when the reality of your life is just so different than everybody else living their realities?
I couldn't agree more. The whole you have to respond within X number of minutes, like that's all the algorithms speak. So first of all, from what I know about the LinkedIn algorithm, which you know, I am not the absolute authority on it, but I have some insights to it. It changes all the time. So whatever we think we know about it today,
Right.
month from now, it could very well be different. LinkedIn is constantly making upgrades, updates, changes. I don't think they want people to be able to hack the algorithm, right? They want it to be an organic. It also depends what your goal is, right? If your only goal on LinkedIn is to have a post go viral, then maybe you really want to spend time studying the algorithm and finding all these hacks and figuring out how to make the most of it. I don't need to go viral. I had a post that was really successful. It got something
Mhm.
close 30,000 views. I almost fell off my chair. I can't imagine 30,000 people looking at something that I put out
Right.
there.
Yeah, that's like a town. That's a small
Mhm.
town.
It is. I've never come close to that again.
Hmm.
And that's totally fine with me. I'm
Right.
super happy with what I have. What I have is real, meaningful engagement. When I post something, I get I get comments from people that I know, from
Right.
people that I don't know.
Right.
And then we have a conversation. Like it's very genuine. When I comment on people's posts, I'm not a fan of the great post comment. Like, okay, sure, great post. Thank you. That's really nice. But I want to know, what did you find interesting about it?
Yes.
What resonated with you? Maybe you don't agree with what I said, and that's okay. As long as we're respectful to one another.
Yes. Of
Polite
course.
discourse is so lacking in today's world.
Oh my goodness.
Everything is either you
Yeah.
must agree with what I say, or it's argumentative. You're right. I'm right. You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about, and a lot worse. There's no room for polite discourse anymore. And I disagree with that completely. I think having different opinions, and we all come from
Right.
different backgrounds, different perspectives, different experiences. We're not all going to think the same. I wouldn't want us to, right? I don't want groupthink.
It's boring. Yeah. And I know I've left some weird, I read my own comment. I'm like, what did I just say? You know,
Yeah.
I literally write stuff that's on my mind. Maybe, yes, it's not always curated, but it's literally coming from straight from my heart.
But that's perfect. That's what it
Yeah.
should be. It should be
Yeah.
from your heart. Like, I want authenticity, right? That's what's meaningful to me. What's meaningful to me is connection and community, authenticity, and supporting others. That's one of the things I love about you. I love about so many of the people I've met on LinkedIn. I see so much of this, and I really try to do it myself too. Just really supporting others, not because you get anything out of it,
Mhm.
but because you want to see other people succeed, and you want that good
Yes.
karma, right? You want that out in the universe. Because I really think that when other people win, we all win.
Yeah. And that karma, that emotion of yours, that feeling of yours that you genuinely feel to lift others, I have to say that it's quite rare. Not That's quite rare in the world, first of all. Like, we're all selfish human beings.
Mm.
We're always in it, like, what's in it for me, right? And there's a marketer joke. When you write something, you have to think about the other person you're writing for, what's in it for them. But I always think about turnaround, like the tables are turned. Everybody's thinking about themselves. Literally, everyone is thinking about themselves. But what you just said, if we can switch that mindset, switch that understanding of that, look, it's like when we share a meal together as a family, and that meal is so much more appreciated, tastes so much better because we sat down as a family, we sat down as a group to appreciate the meal. I think of that. It's just that much richer. And if we can cultivate that, if we can cultivate that type of, I don't know, that connection, that awareness within, even with strangers, imagine what would happen when we actually do need something where we need, hey, Melissa, I need a referral. Do you know someone who needs help with that? I wouldn't feel icky about it because we already have connected. We've already built that baseline. So I love that. I do have a question though. My curiosity is around, I'm curious, why did you go to this route of building a community? Why is this so important to you? I think you've already said that, but I'm curious from the transition of what you did at in your corporate in Ralph Lauren, how did it translate to building a community? Is that something you did at the job, or how did that become part of your, I hope I'm
My
explaining this.
It's really good question. I never really thought about how community building was part of my corporate life. So you just really made me think of something interesting. When I used to interview people in
Mhm.
corporate to be on my team, one of the things I would always say is, so I was product development and production within manufacturing and sourcing.
Right.
I would always say, I always view us as the center of the wheel. And there's all these spokes that are coming out from the center of the wheel, connecting to all the people around the wheel, right? And those are all of
Wow.
my cross-functional partners. That's
Yes.
merchandising, that's design, that's planning, that's allocation, that's our overseas partners, that's our advertising. We work with all of these different teams, but I always viewed us as the center, as the hub. We're connecting all
Mhm.
of these things together. And we're
Mhm.
connecting all of these operations together that go into making these beautiful garments that we all see in a store or online and fall in love with and want to buy because of how they make us feel when we wear them. In a way, yeah, it's always been part of what I do, but I think I've been doing it much more intentionally in the last few years. I think I did it almost, I don't want to say unconsciously, but subconsciously,
Right.
perhaps all
Right.
along. Um, but now it is a very definite intention of mine because it brings me joy and it brings others joy. When I get a DM from someone that says, "Oh my God, I can't believe you connected me with," or "I can't believe you highlighted me in your post. It made my day. It resulted in this person reaching out to me." I've had people tell me they've gotten job offers because I've connected them with people.
Oh,
That's brings me joy. That brings me happiness. And I do it for everyone. I don't have an agenda, but as a woman, as a mom, as the mom of a daughter, it's especially impactful for me to help women and to help women that are new in the workforce. That's like a special thing for me, but I'm happy when I can help absolutely anybody.
that was so beautiful. I hope the people, if you're listening to this episode, I want you to share it. Please share this episode, not because of my podcast. I don't care about what this podcast says or the title. You just need to share this episode with other people so they can hear what just came out of her mouth. I must say that you have unknowingly inspired me to do that, where highlighting people and acknowledging and seeing people, it makes you feel that you have done something. You've made a difference. And that difference is always not in terms of I changed somebody's life. No, you've connected someone and that person was looking for a job and somehow they connected with each other. There you go. You guys can have a conversation, take it from there.
And it does change someone's life, right? Like, I think when we talk
Maybe it
about,
does. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
that was life changing, we think about
Right.
these huge events, but I have a lot of expressions that I use constantly. So you have to forgive me. But like one of them is small wins add up to big wins, right? That's one of my favorites.
Yes.
But small impacts lead up to big impact. You
Yes.
can touch somebody's life in a super small way,
Mhm.
but what works out of that builds and builds, and it can become something life changing. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just a it's still meaningful and it still makes that person feel good and it still has an impact, whether it's enormous or
Mhm.
small,
Mhm.
we still have impact and it's beautiful. It really is. It's a really lovely thing.
Subconsciously, I would say that maybe you've been doing that in your past, whether it's in other jobs or you've had those roles playing. Have you noticed that's been always as part of you? And maybe it just became a little more prominent now that you're not attached to a company per se. You know what I mean? Now that you're on your own, it feels a lot more fluid because, yeah, and now it's okay, you're on LinkedIn land. You can do whatever the heck you want.
Wild West out here. No, I agree. Yes, I think I've always had a tendency towards wanting
Mm.
to help people, towards connecting people. My parents always laugh. So, first of all, they have no understanding of social media, but they would always kind of laugh at I keep in touch with people from so many jobs ago, so many roles ago. I still speak with people in the overseas offices of companies that I worked for 20 years ago. I really believe in relationship and I believe in people. There's so much chatter about AI right now, and it's here
Sure.
and
Right.
it's not going anywhere.
Right.
Pandora's box is open and that lid is not going to be closed. And I thought I'm not wholly against AI. I think there's applications for which it's brilliant and meaningful, and
Sure.
we've all
Right.
been using it for a while and probably never even realized it. But what troubles me about AI in certain situations is also what I think is going to ensure that it never fully succeeds
Mm,
in some ways,
right.
because it's not human and it doesn't have that human touch and it doesn't have emotion and it doesn't have heart. Not right now. And I hope it never does, because I think that's
Yes.
what makes people and that's what makes us special is our heart and our emotions and our real need for connection. I don't
Right.
want to just to a robot all day. I don't want to speak to a chat bot.
Yes.
I want to speak to people. Like you and I are speaking right now. I
Right.
want to speak with people and have a
Yeah.
real meaningful conversation.
Yeah. That would be really weird if I had a chatbot or AI run this podcast for me. I'm tired. I'm tired from the whole week running around kids. Hey, AI, can you just take care of this for me? Can you just interview Melissa? I don't care what you put. No, that's just not going to happen. I
And it
agree.
could happen. You could
Could
do
happen,
it,
but
but
it's,
I don't
yeah,
think it would be good of a conversation.
no, we're not going to have this silly jokes and laughs and things that we encounter, right? So yeah, I agree. I think it has a tremendous potential. I do use it, but I use it in a capacity where I'm researching, I am finding out, digging something deeper, and I need to find out facts, real, true facts. And yeah, that's a whole another discussion. But yeah, you're right. It's not something that will totally replace anytime soon.
No.
So I would, which brings me to discussion. You said something about it's important to you that you empower women, you empower other female entrepreneurs or people who are in trying to get their feet wet on LinkedIn. One thing that you talked about, I know you have two initiatives right now, which is you're working on the fashion retail line, which you do digital portraits for people. And then you are heavily involved with girls and women's empowerment. So I want to talk a little bit about that, the organization, Her Move Next. So how did you get involved? Why did you get involved? And what is it doing for you?
Yeah, sure. So my daughter was a scholastic chess player and she was talented. She was not going to be the next Magnus Carlsen, but she was good at it. We had a lot of fun together. We traveled around the country. We went to tournaments, nationals, we went to girls' nationals, but she started to lose her enthusiasm for it. And that's
Mm,
very common with girls. I think they start to see there's not as many girls playing as there are boys. Chess is a very male dominated activity. At any tournament, if you have 20%
right.
girls or females,
Yeah.
that's huge. It's
Right.
usually even much less. So they start to just see that there's not as many girls there. They start to lose their self confidence. They start to feel intimidated by the boys. They don't necessarily have that camaraderie that they had when they were younger, right? When my daughter was in elementary school, her chess team
Mm,
actually had more girls than boys. It was extremely unusual. And then she switched schools for middle school, and she was one of only a few girls who was playing. And so she really didn't want to play anymore. And be- being the good mom that I am, I bribed her
mhm,
to attend a puzzle contest, puzzle solving class, chess
mm,
puzzles. It was being run by Susan Polgar, who is a incredibly famous, well-known grandmaster and also a big advocate for girls in chess.
mhm,
And so she said, "Fine, I'll do it." Came in second place, might I add. Has a nice trophy and a nice photo with Susan. And we ran into a friend of mine whose daughters play chess.
mhm,
And he said, hey, I've launched this initiative, Her Move Next. It's about keeping girls active in chess community. We run a tournament every month. Chloe, would you be interested in coaching? And you could see just like something click on
Wow.
her face. And she was like, coaching? Oh, that's interesting. And so much to my surprise, she said yes.
Mm.
And so she started coaching for Her Move Next. And Her Move Next is an organization that is our mission. We want to empower girls and young women through chess, through
Wow.
community,
I
and
love
through
that.
and, and the community aspect of it is just as important to us as the chess aspect. So we had monthly, or not, actually, I shouldn't say monthly. We had frequent in-person tournaments,
Mm.
and then COVID happens.
Right.
So we had to think of a way that we could keep this going. How could we keep this momentum and keep this opportunity for girls when we couldn't do anything in person, right? We're in New York City. New York City was the literal epicenter of
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah,
Right?
I
I
remember
mean,
that.
it was
Yeah.
horrible. So you could do nothing in person. And so we
Right.
pivoted to an online format. And I think it's very unique
Mhm.
where we have a female guest speaker that comes
Mhm.
and she talks to our players and our coaches about her career, what she does, got started. And we've had some incredible people come and join us. We've had people from the chess world, we've had doctors, we've had teachers, we've had people that are marketing experts, we've had someone who works at the United Nations, really trying to show girls that they can do or be whatever they want to do or
Mm.
if you can see it, you can be it, right? We really want to have that exposure for our girls. And then after that, so there's community time. They do some chess puzzles together. They have the guest speaker. And then we have a 3-game online tournament. And it's US Chess Online Quick Rated. So it is competitive. It's an online rating. It's less pressure, right? It's for people who don't know chess. The online rating is a little bit secondary to your over the board rating, which is your rating when you play in tournaments in person. It's a really fun activity. We have players that join us from across the country. We have players that join us from China. We have a lot of players that join us from Africa, from Kenya, from Ghana, from Nigeria, because they see the value of what we're trying to provide an opportunity to meet other girls who play chess, sharpen your skills while
Mhm.
you're and just having exposure to this network of women who donate their time to come and speak with us. So I'm really passionate about it. It's something that I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of. My daughter is still an extremely active part of it. She actually MCs the event every month. Uh, yeah.
Wow.
So it's been fun. It really has. I don't know what's going to happen when she goes to college, how that's going to work with her schedule, but we're going to try.
First of all, it's so amazing that you are empowering your own daughter to do what she can, to just show her the way that she can be the voice, she can coach somebody, coach other girls. And you just gave me a flashback because when I was a kid, I played chess in a tournament. I remember I came to a second place and there was no other girls in that chess. It was just me and 90% were all boys. I was the only one. And I came home, I told my mom that, look, I just got a second place. I think I want to keep doing it. I want to just go to more tournaments. Going back, I wish I continued. I wish there was some sort of motivation for me to keep going. I think parents do the best they can, right? They see the potential in you, they try their best. I tried many different things in my life, but chess was one of them. And now my son is into chess, playing chess. He loves it. So you just inspired me to maybe start playing chess again. We're having a Queen Gambit moment here,
Yes.
guys.
Absolutely. That was such an impactful thing that whole Queen's Gambit experience.
Isn't it though? It's the best show on Netflix. It's so good. It's
It
so
was so well done,
Mhm.
so much to spark interest in chess and interest in
Yes.
chess girls.
Especially girls. Yes.
Literally life changing for chess. The popularity, I don't know if it was just the timing of it being during the pandemic and chess is
Right.
a game that translates well to being played online. Just like very serendipitous.
Yeah. But you know how I love this conversation, Melissa? We went from LinkedIn, algorithm community, AI to talking about chess. I think I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to ask you, but I do have a final question for you, and that is what's next for you, Melissa? What where do you see going? Maybe there isn't a next and you are happy with what you're doing right now, but I have to ask.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a good answer.
And
I'm
that's
really
okay.
I'm really happy where I am right now. I'm enjoying what I'm doing,
Mhm.
and I think that's a great thing to be able to say, right? Is there anything better than being able to say, you know what? I'm pretty okay with where I am right now. I think that's a really nice statement to be able to make. Definitely something that I am very passionate about that I want to find ways to explore is I really do love to write. And I want to find more ways to get my writing out there before AI takes over.
Hey,
I do
don't
I
worry.
do want to explore that. I don't know that I'm talking about book level. Many of my friends and connections are writing these incredible books right now. So I'm definitely having a
Yes.
little FOMO.
Right.
I don't know that I'm ready to write a book, but I just love writing short pieces and articles. And I think that's part of why I love LinkedIn so much. It lets me write in small doses. So I'd say if there's something that I want to work on, it's maybe getting that out there a little more.
Is that something you were able to do in while you were at Ralph Lauren? Did you write a lot? Did you do any of that? Or is just something that you realized it was in you maybe this whole time, just haven't had the opportunity to do it?
I've always written for myself. Like I've always been the type of person that kept a journal or that wrote things down, that took notes on things.
Right.
Say like creative writing or writing for other people to see. No, it's relatively new for me. I think it's only the last couple of years that I've actually had the confidence and had enough positive feedback that it's something I feel more comfortable with. I remember the first time that I wrote something to post on LinkedIn, I was terrified.
Of course.
Like, what if this is the worst thing ever? And people, there's no
Right.
thumbs down reaction on LinkedIn, thank God. But I'm like, what if it gets crickets or people DM me and say, what are you writing that nonsense for? It's scary, right? So I think I'm finally at a place now where I feel comfortable and I feel
Mhm.
confident
Mhm.
and I really want to get my voice out there. There's definitely avenues out there for doing that, and I haven't really explored them too much yet. So I think that's probably what I'm looking
Okay.
for. Yeah.
And you are such a great writer. I love reading your I enjoy reading your posts a lot. I also don't follow a lot of, "Hey, you gotta have the headline hooks and all that." Like, I'm like, "What?" I've come across authors and creators that doesn't follow any of that, and yet they've made such a huge impact in on LinkedIn. So
Because
it
it's
really
authentic.
yeah, it's authentic and it really comes down to the person, really. You are I always say you're your own template.
I love that. Oh, can I put that as a LinkedIn nugget, please? You are your own template. I love that. I see so much of that, right? People are trying to help or people are sharing what they know. But I see so many of these follow these steps and use this hook. When you see 20, 25 people just in your own network that are doing the exact same thing, it
They're
doesn't
following
feel
it?
authentic.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't feel authentic anymore. And
Yes.
to me, it's really authenticity is so important. I want to believe you when you say something. I want to think that you are coming from a place of pure good intention. And you need to have authenticity.
I don't think I have met. Again, maybe I haven't met enough people on LinkedIn, but like I said, Melissa, you're as clean-hearted person as anyone can ever witness in person. Anyway, I think this was so fun, and I know that I will have you on the show again at some point.
Anytime.
You
This
know,
went so fast. I can't believe it.
literally an hour just went away. So, folks, if you are wanting to connect with Melissa, the best way to find you is where? LinkedIn. What is it? What a surprise. If you really want to connect with someone, there are no excuse, right? Like you can send them a DM, you can start a conversation, you can book a call, whatever that is. But I always say, make it so you have this clean mind, clean heart, and just be true with your intentions. That's all.
Absolutely.
We don't need to play the game of being agenda-ish or any of that. And I just found that has changed my landscape of how I bring business, how I connect and relate to people. I wish I did this in beginning of my career. And you learn, you mature, you learn the hard way that yeah, things don't work out. Like copying other strategies just don't work. Find out what works for you.
Yeah, I'm good. Exactly.
Is there any last words you want to say, Melissa, before we end the episode?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me. Like I said, I cannot believe we've been talking for an hour because it feels like 10 minutes. I love what you do. I love how you want to lift others. You want to empower others. I love how authentic and genuine you are. And this is what LinkedIn's all about, right? This is the connection, the friendship, the community. I'm extremely grateful. So thank you so much.
Appreciate you so much. Thank you again for coming, saying yes to the show. Don't forget to leave a comment, review, and share this episode if you found value. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to check out free resources and information on each episode where we share tips, strategies, and insights, you can find the show notes, downloads by visiting to my website, www.humairaakhtar.com. Again, if you find these episodes valuable, where it's adding meaning to your life and it's up-leveling your well-being and increase your self-awareness, please don't forget to leave a review for this podcast. Your ratings will also help other listeners to spread the word. Until then, please take care, and I will see you next time.